Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Radha Nila Madhava Radha Nila Madhava Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for once again kindly assembling here today. And my special thanks to all the devotees who have kindly arranged all these programs. Specifically, His Grace Damodara Prasad Prabhu, His Grace Nama Vrata Prabhu, and specifically thanks to Sri Hari Vilas Maharaj for kindly guiding the temple community so well. Dear devotees, today I am going to speak on a topic which is called Darshan of Sri Damodar. But before that, our standard practice is to begin with Mangalacharan. Most of us already know these verses, so you can kindly sing along with me. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। So thank you very much, dear devotees, once again for kindly assembling here. This particular topic is called the Darshan of Sri Damodara, and it is something which has been a topic of much relevance for myself. I have a personal interest in the topic, and it has been more than a decade to try and understand this topic. So, dear devotees, I would like to begin with a very simple question. How many of us would like to see Krishna face to face? Please raise your hands. Yeah, everybody raised their hands. So I also, when I came to the Society of Devotees, I also had this very desire, same desire, that I want to see Krishna face to face someday. And I used to follow all the teachings very nicely, hoping that someday I will also see Krishna face to face. But there was some disappointment as far as I am concerned. So this is a small story about that. Dear devotees, when I was a new devotee, I used to read many encouraging statements which told me that I should follow the principles nicely, I should chant my japa nicely, and one day I will see Krishna face to face. And many statements like that are there in the letters of Srila Prabhupada. So I'd like to specify a letter, but if somebody can read out from the audience, then it would be very nice. Do we have a mic? Yeah. So here is a letter from Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is saying something. So who would like to read? Okay. Means you will be going in some time. So Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Yeah.
So Srila Prabhupada encourages seeing Krishna face to face in many places. For example, in one letter. Please read, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Krishna, being the father of all living entities, is supplying the bare necessities of their life. But for his devotees, he has got special attention. So depend on Krishna, chant regularly Hare Krishna, and you will find that he is talking with you face to face. What to speak of supplying your necessities? This is a great science, and please try to understand it nicely. Letter to Jai Shri, 13th
Right.
November.
So, very clearly he is saying in the letter, so depend on Krishna, okay. Chant regularly Hare Krishna, okay. And you will find that he is talking with you face to face. What to speak of supplying your necessities. And this is a great science, please try to understand. So I also wanted to understand the science, right? Not only Srila Prabhupada, many other acharyas also encourage that one should try and see Krishna once face to face. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a very nice song. I will sing the song, please repeat after me. Janam safalatar Krishna darshan jar भाग्य होय आछे एक बार जन्म सफल तार, his life is successful. Krishna Darshana, Yar, who obtains a darshan of Krishna, Bhagya in his life, hoyache ek bar. What does ek bar mean? Once. So his life is successful, who gets a darshan of Krishna. At least how many times in his life? Once. Prabhu, can you read the translation?
His life is successful who has obtained a darshan of Krishna at least once in his life.
Yes. Encouraging statement, right? So who wouldn't want to have darshan of Krishna? If I get one darshan of Krishna, definitely my life will be successful. So don't we come every day in the temple and get darshan of Krishna? Prabhuji? Yes? Your name, Prabhuji?
Raseshwar Gopa.
Raseshwar?
Gopa.
Gopa Prabhu. Raseshwar Gopa Prabhu. Don't we get darshan every day in the temple? So then my life is successful. Everybody who's walking, they're getting darshan of Krishna. So what darshan is he speaking of? Because if one darshan is enough, then we have already had darshan hundreds and thousands of times. So our life should be considered as successful. But the darshan which he is speaking of, what Srila Prabhupada was speaking of in the previous verse, face to face, where Krishna is interacting with you. I hope you are able to understand. So that darshan is the darshan which is being spoken of here in this particular verse. We have darshan now. Now also all of us are having darshan. Krishna is speaking to how many of us face to face? I hope it is clear. So that darshan where Krishna is personally interacting with us is the darshan which is being spoken of in this particular verse. It is called Sakshat Darshan. Which darshan? Sakshat Darshan. Who says who? Somebody may say, why are you differentiating between getting darshan of deity and getting darshan of Lord? So I would say I am not differentiating. Acharyas themselves will differentiate. But we will wait for that. We will see those statements of the acharyas. But for the time being, his life is successful who gets a direct darshan, Sakshat darshan of Krishna in his life. At least how many times? Once. Srila Rupa Goswami also in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu has described a verse which says that there is no happiness in comparison to the happiness of getting one darshan of Krishna. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a verse describing the happiness of Dhruva Maharaj when he saw Bhagavan face to face. And this verse is as follows, it is in front of us. Kindly sing after me. Tvat sakshat karanahlada Vishuddhabdhi sthitasya me Sukhani goshpadayante Brahmanyapi Jagadguru Tvat Sakshatkarana. What is Sakshatkar? Does anybody know what is the meaning of Sakshatkar? Direct glance, direct darshan. Tvat Sakshatkarana. gives ahlada. Seeing you face to face, O Lord, gives ahlada, such a joy that joy is vishuddha abdhi. It is like an ocean of joy. It is like a big ocean. Sitasya me, and Dhruva Maharaj says, I am situated in that ocean. Now, Sukhani Goshpadayante, all other happinesses are turning into water within the tiny hoof print of a calf. Can you imagine the difference between water in an ocean and water in the tiny hoof print of a calf? So all other types of happiness have become like the happiness within Goshpada. Goshpada means within the hoof print of a calf. So you can't compare the water within the hoof print of a calf to water within the entire ocean. Not also Brahma Sukha, the happiness of merging into the impersonal Brahma, so is a Brahmani api. That happiness also cannot be compared. It has also turned into the water within the hoof print of a calf. Jagat Guru, O Lord of the universe. So Prabhuji, this is the translation. Can you please read?
My dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize all other so-called happiness to be like the water contained in the hoof print of a calf.
Yeah, so this is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Very encouraging statement that if one sees Krishna once face to face, then his happiness will be such that all other variations of happiness will be defeated. So, very nice. I had so many encouraging statements. I wanted to see Krishna face to face. But I wanted to know exactly where in the Shastra it is described that I will get to see Krishna face to face. How will I get to see Krishna face to face? So, I had this confusion that while reading through the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, I could not find anything about what is the eligibility to get darshan of Krishna. So I read through the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I wanted to see what is there for having sakshat darshan, direct darshan of Krishna. It's a very important topic. See, we come to Bhakti for one reason, that we want to realize Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And it is very important to get a darshan of Krishna in this very life. And the acharyas have glorified it. But I could not find anything about the eligibility to get darshan of Krishna. I was reading through Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But then my confusion was resolved when I read the works of another acharya. This acharya we might have heard of. His name is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. So many of us might have heard the name of this great acharya, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, when I was reading his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, I found a verse which described darshan. Would you like to see that verse where he is describing what is the eligibility for receiving darshan? Yes. So, in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam, this was first canto. So, he composed a verse which describes 14 stages of bhakti. How many stages of bhakti? 14. And in these 14 stages of bhakti, darshan was mentioned as one of the stage. So I will sing this verse, kindly repeat after me. Satam kripa mahat seva Shraddha Guru Padashraya Bhajaneshu Spriha Bhaktir Anartha Pagamastatah Nishtha Ruchir Atha Sakti Rati Premath Darshanam Harer Madhuryanubhava Ityarthasyush Chaturdashe. Chaturdashe, 14 stages of progress of a devotee. Every devotee goes through this. First, Satam Kripa, the mercy of sadhus, stage 1. What is the first stage in every devotee's life? The mercy of sadhus. Second, Mahat Seva, rendering service to those sadhus. Third, Shraddha, as a result of rendering service, the devotee gets Shraddha. Shraddha means which Shraddha? Shraddha means, what is the meaning of Shraddha? Faith. Faith in what?
Faith in Guru. Faith in the process. Faith in the process.
Yeah. So our Acharya say Shraddha means Shraddha in Shastra. Shastriya Shraddha. Shastrartha Shraddha. Shastrartha Vishwasa Eva Shraddha. This is definition given by Srila Jiva Goswami. So he gets Shraddha in the message of Shastra. And then after that, reading Shastra, he gets faith in Guru. And fourth stage is Guru Padashrayah. He accepts the shelter at the feet of a Guru. Fifth, Bhajaneshu Spriha. Then after accepting shelter at the feet of a Guru, he develops Spriha. What is the meaning of Spriha?
Consciousness.
Thirst, a desire for performing bhajan, for performing bhakti. Bhajan doesn't mean taking a harmonium and singing. That is also bhajan. Bhajan means any activity of service for Bhagwan is known as bhajan. Bhajaneshu spriha. Fifth. Sixth is bhakti. Actual bhajan he performs. Not only desire, but he actually performs bhajan. Seventh is as a result of performing bhajan, anartha apagamastataha. All his anarthas are driven away. Eighth, nishtha. He gets firm faith in the process of bhakti. Ninth, ruchi. He gets taste in the process of bhakti. 10th, atha asakti. He gets attachment towards the Lord. 11th, ratihi. Krishna gives him a sthai bhav, or Krishna gives him immense attraction towards himself. He gets eternal relationship, sthai bhav. 12th, prema. The complete love of Krishna is established in his heart for the first time in his life. 13th, and after prema comes which stage? Darshanam. And finally, this is not the last stage. I said how many stages are there total?
14.
So final stage is because Harer Madhurya Anubhava, a complete Anubhava experience of Hari's sweetness. Because darshan is seeing Krishna only through one sense. Which sense? Eyes. But experiencing Krishna through all the senses is called Harer Madhurya Anubhava. That experiencing Hari through all of one's senses. Iti arthaha syuhu. These are the progressive stages. Chaturdashe. And how many stages are there? 14 stages are there. So I was happy that finally I have found the eligibility to get darshan. The eligibility to get darshan, the eligibility to reach stage 13 is that you should have crossed stage number 12. So what are the stages? This is mentioned here. So Prabhu, kindly read.
Mercy of the sadhus. 2. Service to sadhus. 3. Shraddha. 4. Obtaining shelter of the Guru. 5. A desire to perform bhajana. 6. Actual bhajana. 7. Destruction of anarthas. 8. Nishtha. 9. Ruchi. 10. Ashakti. 11. Rati. 12. Prema. 13. Darshana. 14. A complete experience of Hari's sweetness.
Right. So these are 14 stages of bhajan in any devotee's life, out of which what is darshan? Which stage number is darshan? 30. So I am happy. Finally I know that at least on stage number 13 I will finally attain what is known as darshan. See, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is commenting in Bhagavatam commentary, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 22, that finally on stage number 13 I will attain darshan. So I am happy, at least I know, although it is very far away. What is the stage previous to darshan? So that is the eligibility for attaining darshan. So am I not attaining darshan every day of the deity? Yes, I am attaining darshan. But the darshan which the acharyas have spoken about, that darshan is in a completely different category, and that darshan is darshan which has prema involved. And the darshan which occurs after prema, which is sakshat darshan, that is the darshan that I was looking for, and I found the eligibility mentioned in Shastra for the same. Now there was a bigger confusion, dear devotees. Now this is resolved, no problem. Once this is resolved, there was a bigger confusion, and this bigger confusion occurred when I was just casually reading through Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I was casually reading ahead in the sections in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and when I was reading casually, I found that Sri Rupa Goswami at one point of time ends up speaking about a devotee carpenter in the Bhakti Rasamrita. He gives the example of a devotee carpenter, nothing related to darshan. My confusion was resolved, I know, after prema, next stage is darshan. I was happily, preparing that someday I will get prema, and after prema I will get darshan. See, there are two reactions to seeing that something is very difficult. One reaction is, some people throw their coat away. It's not going to happen in this life. Chalo, chhod do. Next life we will see. Okay. Second reaction is, okay, it is possible in this life, all right. So let's try, even if it is very far away. So it said it is better to have loved and lost rather than never have loved at all. There is a very famous saying. Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. So better to have tried and failed rather than have saying that chalo, next life we will see what is going to happen. So in this way, I was still preparing ki chalo, it is stage number 13, no problem. So history of devotee carpenter was described. It had nothing to do with darshan. So I was reading about it, and this devotee carpenter, it is mentioned by Sri Rupa Goswami that he was not in this age, but he was in the previous Dwapar Yuga. He was a worshipper of Lord Krishna. In which Yuga? Dwapar Yuga. So, and he was worshipping Krishna in the mood of a father, which means he was worshipping Bal Gopal. So, Srila Rupa Goswami's verse in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is as follows. The verse is in front of us. Kindly recite after me. Tatha hi shruyate shastre kaschet kurupuri sthitah nandasunoradhishtanam tatra putra taya bhajan naradasya upadeshena siddho bhud vriddha vardhaki tatha hi shruyate shastre. Therefore, it is heard in Shastra, Rupa Goswami says. Kaschit, some person, Kurupuri sthitah, he was situated in one place. Which place was he situated? Kurupuri, Kurukshetra. Sthitah. Hastinapur, basically, Kurukshetra. He was worshipping. Whom was he worshipping? Nanda Sunor Adhishthanam. Adhishthan, a deity of the son of Nanda Maharaj. Which means he was worshipping Krishna. And in which mood? Tatra putra taya bhajan. He was worshipping Krishna in the mood of a son, as a son. Which means he was worshipping Bal Gopal. And who told him to worship it this way? Naradasya upadeshena. He was following Narad Pancharatra. Which literature was he following? Narad Pancharatra. According to the instructions of Narad Muni, he was doing. Siddho abhut. He attained perfection. Who was he? Vriddha Vardhaki, old carpenter. So old carpenter in Hastinapur and Kurukshetra, that area, he was worshipping a deity of Krishna. Which Krishna was he worshipping? Bal Gopal. In what mood? As considering Krishna to be his son. According to whose instructions? Narad Muni's instruction. He attained perfection. Anything to do with darshan here? Absolutely not. Okay. But I have a habit that when I will read, I will also read with the commentaries. So I was reading with the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In the commentary, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ended up saying something which really confused me. And I will show the commentary to you. This is the translation. Prabhuji, can you please read?
The scriptures describe a certain aged carpenter residing at Kurukshetra who worshipped the deity of the Krishna in the mood of a father according to Sri Narada's instructions. Thus he attained perfection.
Alright. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, I will Speak, please repeat after me. Pratimeti anena iyam seva na vrajendrasya bhava cheshtitanusareni gyeya. So, Pratima iti, he was worshipping a Pratima. What is the meaning of Pratima? Deity. It is said Nanda Sunor Adhishthanam. Adhishthanam means he was worshipping a Pratima, a deity. Anena, by this term, iyam seva, his service, na vrajendrasya, cannot be compared to Vrajendra Nanda Maharaj. Bhava cheshtitanusareni gyeya. He was worshipping a deity and his service cannot be compared to the service rendered by Sri Nanda Maharaj. Okay, so you can see here the translation. This carpenter served the deity of Krishna in the mood of a father, but his service was never like the service rendered by Nanda Maharaj. Question is why? Why would he is also worshipping in the mood of a father. Nanda Maharaj was also rendering in service in which mood? Father. His service cannot be the same as the service of Nanda Maharaj. Question is why? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies. Please repeat after me. Tena tu sakshat Shri Krishnasya eva iti sevakrita na tu tat pratimaya. Nanda Maharaj, tena tu sakshat Krishnasya sevakrita. Nanda Maharaj directly served whom? Na tu tat pratimaya. Not a. For the first time in my life, I am reading that there is a difference between serving Krishna directly and serving the. For I have never heard this before. I am immensely confused. Has anybody heard this before? Like this? That there is a difference between directly serving Krishna and serving the deity? We have been told never to differentiate. Those who understand little bit of Sanskrit also, they can understand what he is saying. Sakshat Krishnasya seva krita na tu tat pratimaya. Nanda Maharaj has rendered service directly to Sri Krishna, not to a pratima of Krishna. Okay, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what do you want to imply finally? What do you want to say after saying that he has rendered service to the deity, not directly to Krishna, but Nanda Maharaj has rendered service directly to Krishna? So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is what really confused me. The conclusion, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, please repeat after me. Tasmat sadhakena tu sakshat darshan asambhavat tat pratimaya eva seva kartavya. Tasmat. Therefore, sadhakena tu, for those who are sadhakas, for those who are what? How many of us are sadhakas? Practitioners. Sakshat darshan asambhavat. Because it is impossible to attain which darshan? Therefore, tat pratimaya eva seva kartavya. Therefore, the sadhaka should render service only to what? The deity of the Lord. Do you agree, Prabhu? Nice Siddhanta? Yes or not nice? How does it sound? Prabhuji, here is the translation. You only read the translation, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Since the sadhaka can never attain a direct darshan of Krishna, he should engage in servicing the deity.
And what have we heard till now?
Prabhupada said deity worship is for neophytes.
Okay.
That means it's essential
Right.
to go to the actual stage of prema.
Agreed that deity worship is prescribed for the neophytes. But advanced devotees also do deity worship. It is prescribed for the neophytes, but it is not that once you become an advanced devotee, you give up deity worship. Like in the Guru Ashtakam, we say in the third verse. What is the third verse? Shri Vigraha Radhana Nitya Nana Shringara Tan Mandir Marjanado Yuktasya Bhaktam's Chani Yunjatopi. So he engages the neophyte devotee in deity worship, but Yuktasya, he himself is also engaged in the service of the deity. So deity worship helps the new devotee, but it also helps. It is also performed by the most advanced devotee. So, question is, if sadhaka cannot directly obtain a darshan of Krishna, why is the same Acharya speaking two contradictory things? I hope you are able to understand what is the contradiction. The contradiction is that in one purport, darshan of Krishna is described as which stage of bhakti? 13. In another purport, rejects the very possibility of darshan. If it is the 13th stage of bhakti, then it should be available to me. But in another purport, which that verse had nothing to do with darshan. But just because the carpenter was a sadhaka. What was the carpenter? Sadhaka. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ends up saying the sadhaka's service can never be equal to Nanda Maharaj's service. Why? Nanda Maharaj is rendering service to whom? Directly to Krishna. Whereas this sadhaka was rendering service to whom? Therefore, since it is impossible for sadhakas to have direct darshan of Krishna, therefore the sadhakas should render service only to what? Deity. That is major implication for me, na? What is the implication for me? What is the implication? You cannot get darshan of Krishna. Why? Because I am what? Sadhaka. So one purport is saying 13th stage, another purport is rejecting the very possibility of darshan. Now things are getting serious. Now I am not happy at all, dear devotees. So I am thinking, maybe somebody made a mistake in copying down the words of Vishwanath Chakravarti. Sometimes it happened, print mistake or something like that happened. So maybe there is a mistake in copying the commentary or something, and maybe I have misinterpreted something like that. Maybe it is my mistake of translation that I could not interpret it correctly. In ISKCON we say something is confirmed, it should be confirmed through how many sources?
3.
But right now, how many sources is saying it? 1. So maybe I should wait. Let's try to do our bhajan. Maybe 13th stage I will receive darshan. But gradually my worst fears were to be realized, dear devotees, because at one point of time I read also a letter or a conversation by Srila Prabhupada's god brother. His name is Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. So he and Srila Prabhupada were very close friends. So one time a person came to meet Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and he asked him one question: have you seen Krishna? Directly. Like so many years you are practicing bhajan, have you seen Krishna? So he replied to that person, and this is recorded in one of his conversations. So Prabhuji, you have to read what he says.
One of my friends from my previous life also came to see me and put to me a straightforward question. He asked, "What have you got? Have you seen God?" I answered, "No, I have not seen him as you may think he is to be seen." Then he asked, "What have you got that for so long you have lived such a life?" He was very much depressed and went away.
So a person comes to Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and asks, have you seen God? Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says, well, no, I have not seen God. If you think that, Sakshat Darshan you are speaking about. My answer is what? No. That person was depressed and said, what did you do for so many years? And went away, actually. So friend, when he says previous life, it means from before joining the Gaudiya Math as a disciple of Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So friend came from his college days and said, what are you doing for so many years that you could not get a darshan of Krishna? So my fears are increasing, dear devotees, because if a devotee of the stature of Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says that I have not received a direct darshan of Krishna, then for me to say in 2022 that I will receive a direct darshan of Krishna, how good are my chances? Good or not good? Not good. So second source is also saying something. Now, of course, This is statement by sadhu. Statement by whom? Sadhu. I am looking also for statement from where? Shastra. Sadhu is there, and sadhu statements are very important. Confirmatory statements are also coming from one important source. Which source is that? Shastra. One source I got, which is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. And I got one sadhu who is also confirming this in his life. But then I also found another source in Shastra. So this was when I was reading through the Sandarbhas, through Krishna Sandarbha. Srila Jiva Goswami has written a commentary, auto-commentary on the Krishna Sandarbha. So he is himself the writer of Krishna Sandarbha, and he has also written a commentary on Krishna Sandarbha called Sarva Samvadini. So in this Sarva Samvadini, I saw a verse which I had never seen previously. So this verse also added to my fear. This verse is as follows, please repeat after me. Pratyaksha Rupa Drigdevo Drishyate na kalau hari Kritadishveva tena isha Triyugah paripathyate. Pratyaksha Rupa. What is the meaning of Pratyaksha? Directly taking a form. Drik. Directly taking a form. Devaha, our Lord. Drishyate na. He is not seen. In which age? Kalau. In the age of our Hari is not seen. So if he is not seen in Kali Yuga, is he seen in previous ages? So the verse says, Kritadishu eva. Yes, in Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga he is seen. In Treta Yuga he is seen. In Dwapar Yuga he is seen. Tena Esha. Because of this he is known as Triyugaha. What is his name? Triyugaha. Or the Lord who is seen only in how many ages? See, Satya Yuga is there, and there are people who could not attain eligibility to take birth in Satya Yuga. So they took birth in which Yuga? Treta. Now some people were ineligible to take birth in Treta Yuga. They took birth in which Yuga? And then those who are reject of all the Yugas, they ended up taking birth in which Yuga? So I am one of them. And this is the bad news for me, that one cannot have Sakshat Darshan of Krishna in which age? So Prabhu, how many sources from Shastra are confirmed? Plus one sadhu. Okay, this is the translation. Prabhuji, please read.
In Kali Yuga, the Lord Krishna cannot be seen face to face. He is seen like that only in the previous ages. Hence he is known as Triyuga, or the one who can be seen only in the remaining 3 ages.
Prabhu, see my misfortune. In Dwapar Yuga, did Duryodhan see Krishna?
Yes. Yes.
Did Shakuni see Krishna?
Yes.
Did Shishupal see Krishna?
Yes.
Am I worse than these people combined? In Kali Yuga, I cannot see Krishna. Verse actually says that, which means I am in a position which is worse than Shakuni, Shishupal. This is my misfortune. So I still had one hope ki chalo, maybe, 3 sources are not there. Only 2.5 you can say, 2 Shastra and 1 Sadhu. But finally, my worst fears were confirmed because I found a 3rd source in Shastra. And this was in Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is one pastime where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is residing in Vrindavan. He is in Vrindavan. He has come for his Vrindavan Yatra. In Vrindavan Yatra, he is staying at one place with his assistant. His assistant's name is Shri Balabhadra Bhattacharya. Very nice Brahmin boy. Bhattacharya we understand, it is Brahmin boy. So Balabhadra Bhattacharya is staying with him, and every day a few pilgrims come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and say, "Oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every night, if you go today to the banks of Yamuna near Kaliya Ghat, every night you can see Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. Tonight you should come and see." And it is, since few days it is happening. So before it disappears, come and get darshan of Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. In day or at night? At night. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and said, okay, you guys go have darshan. You people all go have darshan. I will be here. No problem. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and he did not go for taking darshan. Next day, other pilgrims came and they said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please, tonight you will see Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, on the banks of Yamuna. Please come and take darshan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and said, you guys, you please have darshan, I am happy here, no problem. Finally, when it happened like this repeatedly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's assistant got curious, Balabhadra Bhattacharya. So he said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, can I go tonight and see Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya? So at that point, when Shri Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who is learned Brahman, is born in Brahmin family, he started saying this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lovingly slapped him, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uttered this verse. Please repeat after me. Krishna kene darashana dibe kali kale nija brahme murkha loka kare kolahale. So Prabhu, Amritaran Prabhu understands, Bangla. Prabhuji, can you translate the verse live for us? Please give him the mic.
Put me in a spot. Krishna kena darshana dibe. Why Krishna will give darshan? Kali kale, in the age of Kali.
Very nice.
Nije Brahma Murkha ko loka, means they are Brahmit by in the Murkha loka. They are, they are in the age of Kali. They are distorted. Mind is distorted. Kare kolahale. So they are like just making up some kind of noise.
So in Dwapar Yuga, Krishna was seen dancing on the hoods of Kaliya in night time or daytime?
Daytime.
Daytime. See Kali Yuga. Krishna is not seen in daytime. Krishna is seen in which time? Night time. He said to Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Krishna kene darshan dibe kali kale. Why will Krishna give darshan in which age? Third confirmation, dear devotees. Nija brahme, because of their own foolishness, murkha loka, these people, kare kola hale, they are spreading some rumor here and there. So Prabhu, please read the translation. Or Amritaran Prabhu, you only can read the translation. Yeah. Prabhupada's translation.
Mahaprabhu himself did not go to the...
No, below that, why would Krishna?
Okay. Why would Krishna give darshan in the age of Kali? Foolish people who are mistaken are simply causing agitation and making a tumult.
And after few days it was found out that it was nothing but a boatman at night who was riding a boat there in the Yamuna, nothing else. So you can call Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as one of the original people who were into rationalistic thinking. One of the original rational thinkers of Kali Yuga. Somebody will try and make some foolish claim. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, "Are Krishna kene darshan dibe Kali kale." But is it good news for me or bad news for me?
Bad news.
Because now I have confirmation from how many sources? Plus one sadhu also confirms this. So I am very disappointed, dear devotees. That time I felt like going to an ISKCON temple and asking, is there a resignation letter? Prabhuji, is there a resignation letter from ISKCON? Damodara Prasad Prabhu, have you seen? I couldn't write to Bhagavan Shri Shri Radha Nil Madhav. Dear Shri Shri Radha Nil Madhav, I came to your service with great hopes that I will receive one day your darshan. Unfortunately, the real truth was hidden somewhere deep inside the commentaries. I have now found out that I cannot get a darshan of you in my life. I hereby resign. Now I am going back to material life. Thank you. No longer your servant. Can I write like this? Is it possible? No, it is not possible. See, that is how Krishna is. Still, devotee will not resign. And this is something which should be printed on the first page of new books. This Siddhanta is something that should not, after 15 years you find out somewhere hidden in a book that you cannot get darshan of Krishna. It should be on the front page of every book. See, this is Krishna book. No, but please note, you cannot get darshan of Krishna as a sadhaka. If that disclaimer is given, then I would have saved a lot of time. But that was not given. In beginning, encouraging statements. Chant Hare Krishna, follow the regulative principles. Very soon you will see Lord Krishna face to face. This is what everybody has heard. And later you find out Krishna kene darshan dibe kali kale. What is going on? So I am most disappointed. I was very disappointed that year. This was few years ago. I was very disappointed that year. And with a heavy heart, I was still doing my bhajan summer, doing my japa every day somehow. But with extreme disappointment that it is given right there in Shastra that you will not attend darshan of Krishna. So, dear devotees, this was the presentation. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Part 2 next year.
Yes. So, when I visit next year, I will, Until then, you can please keep this. This was an important Siddhanta which I wanted to convey to everybody. I hope everybody understood what the Siddhanta is. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay?
No.
Krishna is saying, I will now stop also Deity Darshan in some time. Direct Darshan chhod do. Deity Darshan is also about to close. See, this is an indication from Krishna. So, dear devotees, it was extremely disappointing for me that year. Where that year was, I can say in the sunny weather of India, I got depression. I cannot imagine what would have happened if it was, winters in Seattle, if I would have undergone the same experience in a Seattle winter. But in a sunny season in Mumbai, I was facing depression because I have given my life to rendering bhajan towards Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Nila Madhav Jiv ki jai. And now I have come to know painstakingly after 12 years in my bhajan that it is not possible to get darshan of Krishna. So, with a heavy heart, I continued my bhajan, and then one month arrived which gives some happiness. It is called Kartik Mas. Which Mas? Devotees are. Every devotee is happy during Kartik Mas. So, I am also happy during Kartik Mas because Kartik Mas means I can go to one dham. Which dham I can go to? Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan is my favorite deity, my Ishta Devata, whom I can depend upon when I am in times of great distress. So, dear devotees, with a big question in my heart that if I cannot get to see God in this life, what do I aim for and what am I supposed to do in my spiritual life? This is a very irresolvable question. With proof, it has been established that I will not get to see Krishna directly. With this question in my heart, I have gone to Shri Vrindavan and seen my Ishta Devata. Dear devotees, you can see my Ishta Devata, Shri Radha Damodara. Shri Radha Damodara Jiv ki jai. He is the worshipable deity of Srila Jiv Goswami Prabhupada. And I know I may be disappointed anywhere else, but in this temple, I will definitely receive some answer. Because in this temple is also Srila Prabhupada himself, Sri Radha Damodara. So all the ideal personalities to ask help from are in this temple. Is Sri Rupa Goswami present in this temple? Yes. Is Sri Jiva Goswami present? Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Yes. All the personalities are present in this temple. So I prayed to Sri Sri Radha Damodar because this is Kartik Mas. And in Kartik Mas you are worshipped. And it is said that you are especially merciful in Kartik Mas. So you help me. So somehow in Kartik Mas I would go every day for offering lamp. So while offering, I have a habit when I sing Sanskrit verses, I just try to chew upon some of the words while I am, meditate upon the meaning of some of the words. So I was singing Damodara Ashtakam. In Damodara Ashtakam, I started noticing something. Something is wrong in, some of the words. How many of us know the 4th verse of Damodara Ashtakam? Sorry, I am directly asking a verse from the middle. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam vrene ham vareshadapiha idam teva purnatha gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kim anyai. So I am chewing on the words. What is the last line? Let's sing the last line once again. Sada me manasya virastam kim. Sada me manasya virastam. Okay, I noted this last line. Next verse of Damodara Ashtakam. Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nilair vritam kuntalair snigdha raktaischa gopyah muhuschumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virastam alam lashalabhai. Now there is a bell ringing in my mind that in 2 subsequent verses, in the last line, Satyavrat Muni is repeating one phrase. In verse 4, dear devotees, what is verse 4 say? Sada me. Verse 5, I have highlighted the common term. Now, if I have read my Sanskrit poetics correctly, Sanskrit Kavya correctly, if the same concept is repeated twice in subsequent verses, it is a fault. It is called Punar Ukti Dosh, the fault of repeating the same concept twice. You have spoken the same concept in which verse? Verse number? 4. But you are also speaking the same concept in which verse number? 5. What is he saying? Manasi avirastam, appear in my mind. 5th verse, Manasi avirastam, appear in my mind. Question is, you have already said in 4th verse. Why are you saying again in 5th verse? So, technically, it is Punar Ukti Dosh, fault of repetition. Unless the author wants to emphasize something, then it is not fault of repetition. Like there is a verse, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiran. How many times Harer Nama? You could have said once only, na? Harer Nama Iva Kevalam. Why 3 times? In the verse, why do you need to say 3 times Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama? In order to do what? Similarly, there is something that Sri Satyavrat Muni wants to emphasize. So why pray again and again for Krishna to appear in the mind? Satyavrat Muni is born in which yuga? He is not from Kali Yuga. He is from previous age. Why is he praying like that? So I wanted to see some explanation. And there is one explanation on Damodara Ashtakam given by Sri Sanatan Goswami. Because Damodara Ashtakam originally appears in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And in Hari Bhakti Vilas, all the months are described. And when Kartik Mas is described, in Kartik Mas it is described that one should chant Damodara Ashtakam. In Damodara Ashtakam, there is an entire commentary by Sri Sanatan Goswami. And when Sri Satyavrat Muni in the Damodara Ashtakam repeats the same phrase, Manasi Avirastam, Manasi Avirastam, Sri Sanatan Goswami comments there. Please repeat after me. Antar Darshana Mahatmyam Cha Shri Bhagavatamrita उत्तरखंडे विवृत्या उक्तम अस्ति. The glories of Antar Darshan are described in great detail in Brihad Bhagavatamritam Uttarakhand, latter part. That this is what Sri Sanatana Goswami says. So then, for the first time I am hearing a new term. I have highlighted that term. What term is that? You can see on the screen. What term is that? Antar. Now what is Antar Darshan? I have never heard about this before. Has anybody heard about Antar Darshan before? First time I heard about this term. Sri Sanatana Goswami speaking in his commentary to Damodara Ashtakam, verse number 4. So, then I immediately opened Brihad Bhagavatamritam. I went to Uttarakhand and I found out where exactly it is being spoken of. So in Uttarakhand of Brihad Bhagavatamritam, there is a section, because what is Brihad Bhagavatamritam? It is the narration of Gopakumar. Who is Gopakumar? He is a boy who is initiated by a guru named Jayanta. In Govardhan, he was initiated by a guru named Jayanta. He is a cowherd boy, Gopakumar. He is initiated by a guru named Jayanta. The guru gives him a mantra. Chanting this mantra, he goes one planet up, 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 up. And finally, he goes to Golok Vrindavan. So as he is rising up, he goes in a planet which is called as Tapahalok. Which loka? There he meets Nava Yogendras. Nava Yogendras are the 9 sons of Lord Rishabdev who have attained perfection through mystic yoga. They are in Shantaras, and he meets one of the Nava Yogendras. His name is Pippalayan. What is his name? Pippalayan. Pippalayan asks a very simple question to Gopakumar. Gopakumar, why are you roaming everywhere in the universe? What is your purpose? Gopakumar gives the same answer that I had in my mind. I want to see Krishna face to face. That is why I am roaming everywhere in the universe. So Pippalayan says to Gopakumar, stop roaming everywhere. Don't you understand that there is something more important than seeing Krishna face to face? Something much more important than seeing Krishna face to face. And that is called Antar Darshan. Which darshan is this called? Now what is Antar Darshan? Now first and foremost, I would like to ask everybody a question. How many of us want to see Krishna face to face? Please raise your hands. So now, Pippalayan Muni has one question to ask you. The same question that he asked Gopakumar. I give you 2 options. Okay? Prabhuji, 2 options for you. You have to select only one option. You can't select both. Option A. You will see Krishna through the eyes, but you will feel nothing in your mind and heart. Option B. You will see Krishna in your heart, but see nothing through your eyes. You will experience Krishna in your heart. You will see Krishna in your heart, but nothing through your eyes. Which option do you want to take? Why? You only now raised your hand, said I want to see it. In one single question you flipped? Let me ask another question. Can a blind man see Krishna? Yes or no? See, the question is very important. Can a blind man see? If I remove Krishna from that question, can a blind man see? Can a blind man see Krishna? But a blind man has no eyes. Where will he see Krishna? Therefore, so Pippalayan Muni explains to Gopakumar, dear Gopakumar, try to understand one very important Siddhanta. When Krishna, if he comes in front of your eyes, who experiences happiness? Eyes experience happiness or the mind experiences happiness? Eyes are only an optical instrument. After seeing Krishna, happiness is experienced by which sense organ? Mind. Therefore, which is the sense organ which is the actual receiver of darshan? Eyes or mind? So then Pipalayan Muni tells, therefore, O Gopakumar, always aspire for which darshan? Now another question. Those who are staying in Golok Vrindavan, okay, do they not see Krishna face to face? Yes. Do they see Krishna face to face 24 hours? No. Sometimes Krishna goes to the forest for grazing cows. When he has gone to the forest for grazing cows, do they see Krishna face to face? Say confidently, yes or no? If they don't see Krishna face to face, in that time, where do they see Krishna? In their hearts. I hope you are able to understand. So if you want to see Krishna face to face, or if you want to see Krishna constantly, 24 hours, even if you are a Golok Nivasi, that darshan is possible only in one place. Which place is that? The heart. And that darshan is which darshan? Antar darshan. So please try to understand the glories of Antar darshan. This is what Pipalayan Muni said to Gopakumar. It's very important thing for us to understand. Actually, darshan of Bhagavan occurs mainly in the heart. The proper sense organ for perceiving Bhagavan is not the eye. The proper sense organ for perceiving Bhagavan is the mind and the heart. There is another logic given by Shri Pipalayan Muni. Bhagavan is material or spiritual? The eye is material or spiritual? The eye cannot capture Bhagavan. The mind is material or spiritual? But even in material world, it is gross sense object or subtle sense object. So it is the only sense object which can come very close to perceiving a spiritual entity. I hope it is understood. It is the only sense object which can expand itself large enough to contain a spiritual entity such as Bhagavan. Therefore, actual darshan of Krishna appears, it happens, 24-hour darshan of Krishna happens only in one location. Which location is that? The mind and the heart. That darshan is known as which darshan? Then I realized actually that all the time, primarily, the acharyas were glorifying which darshan? In all the songs, like I showed a song of Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the beginning. So, in all the songs, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur was glorifying this only. Please repeat the same song after me. Janam safalatar Krishna darshan jar भाग्य हो अच्छे एक बार. We know what is the meaning of this. His life is successful who gets a darshan of Krishna at least how many times? Immediate next line. Vikasiya hrinayana Kari Krishna darshana Chade jiva chitte ravikara. What sort of darshan is Bhakti Vinod Thakur saying? Vikasiya Hrit Nayana. What is meaning of Hrit Nayana? Eyes of the heart. Developing eyes of the heart. Kari Krishna Darshana. The jiva gets whose darshan? Chade jiva. Then he gives up chittere vikara. All the defects of the heart. So dear devotees, this is the translation. Prabhu, can you read the translation? Amritanand Prabhu, do you have the mic? Yes.
Translation. His life is successful who has obtained a darshan of Krishna at least once in his life. Developing the eyes of the heart, he gets darshan of Krishna. Thus, the jiva gives up the disease of the heart.
So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he was saying 13th stage is darshan, Which darshan was he referring to?
Antar darshan.
Yes. In Kali Yuga, one cannot get which darshan? Which means which darshan? Antar darshan or Bahir darshan? But there is always a possibility to get which darshan in Kali Yuga? Actually, the best type of darshan is which darshan? It is sometimes possible in some rare exceptional cases that even in Kali Yuga, one may get Bahir darshan. Like, for example, did Shri Madhavendra Puri get Bahir darshan or not? Yes. Did Shri Rupa Goswami get Bahir darshan or not? Yes. Shri Bilva Mangal Thakur got which darshan? Antar darshan. Because he had, therefore I asked, can a blind person see Krishna? Bilva Mangal Thakur had plucked out his own eyes. Which type of darshan did Bilva Mangal Thakur get? Srila Prabhupada, when he was on the ship and on the first night when he got 2 heart attacks, at that time Srila Prabhupada kept his favorability towards Krishna intact, and he said to Krishna, whatever you want to do, you do. And at that very moment, Shri Krishna gave him one darshan. The first darshan that Srila Prabhupada received was which darshan? Bahir darshan. Krishna came there in the container, and Krishna kept his hands on the chest of Srila Prabhupada and said, don't worry. That was which darshan? Bahir darshan. And then Srila Prabhupada saw all incarnations of Krishna driving the ship. We all have heard this. Yes? That was which darshan? Did Srila Prabhupada go outside the ship and see whether everybody is driving or not? Or did he receive Antar darshan? Antar darshan. So I hope you are able to understand. Srila Prabhupada got both types of darshan. Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur got Antar darshan. Srila Madhavendra Puri got both types of darshan. Srila Rupa Goswami got both types of darshan. Actually, it is in an exceptional case, Krishna may give Bahir darshan in Kali Yuga. But the rule is that in Kali Yuga, he will in general not give which darshan? Because Krishna's incarnation is scheduled for which Yuga? Kali Yuga or Dwapar Yuga? In Dwapar Yuga, during his scheduled time, it is called Prakat Leela. Which Leela is it called? In Prakat Leela, he will be seen by anybody and everybody. Will Shakuni see Krishna in Dwapar Yuga? Yes. Will Duryodhan see Krishna in Dwapar Yuga? Yes. Will Jarasan see Krishna in Dwapar Yuga? Yes. How do we want to see Krishna? Like Shakuni, Jarasandh? Do we want to have the same darshan as all of them? Or do we want to have the darshan of Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur? We would obviously, if a choice is given, which darshan do we want to have? But Shakuni got Bahir darshan, yes or no? But did Shakuni get Antar darshan? So it's very important to understand that the most important type of darshan for the sadhak, sadhakena tu sakshat darshan asambhavat. Therefore, since the sadhaka cannot get which darshan? Sakshat darshan. Sakshat darshan was referring to which darshan? Bahir darshan. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur never denied which darshan? Antar darshan. And in all the songs, Antar darshan is glorified. Alright? Many of us have sung. Mama mana mandire rahanisi dine Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari. Why Mama Mana Mandire? Why not Mama Nayan Mandire? Let's meditate upon that. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santah Sadaiva. Are? Brahma is saying Hrideshu. Brahma should say Nayaneshu. Santah Sadaiva Nayaneshu Vilokayanti. They see in their eyes. But do the sadhus always see Krishna in their eyes, or do the sadhus always see Krishna in their hearts? In the hearts. Because that is where prema occurs. Prema occurs in the heart, therefore darshan also occurs immediately within the heart. The eye is merely an optical instrument. Actually, Krishna is supposed to be experienced not only through the eye, but through all the senses. including the most important sense, which is the heart. If the heart is missing, then any darshan that you get of Krishna will be completely useless. It will be the same as the darshan by Jarasandh, by Shishupal, etc. because their heart was never aligned with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. I hope this is understood. So, even today it is possible to see Krishna. But the main type of darshan is Antar darshan. In a rare exceptional situation, Bahir darshan may be possible for certain devotees. That Siddhanta we should understand. I hope that whatever I have said made some sense. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All right. Okay. Now we have ended on a positive note. I was going to give the remaining half next year, but so if there are any comments or questions, first I would say yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible that while speaking I might have made any mistakes. Definitely every living entity makes mistakes. Vidvamsah, but you are all vidvans, purayantu tat. You please correct any mistake that I have made. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit, but if there was anything nice in the presentation, any slide, any sentence, any word, any syllable, half a syllable, you cannot break beyond that in Sanskrit. So, if even half a syllable was nice, please know, Tat Guroreva, it belongs to my Gurujanas, my Diksha Guru, Sri Srimad Radha Govinda Das Swami Maharaj, my Shiksha Guru, Sri Srimad Gaur Govind Maharaj, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the parivars, including all of you who are also my Shiksha Gurus. It belongs to you, me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, if there are any questions, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful class again. So, Prabhu, I have a question related to yesterday's class and today's class.
Sure.
So, in today's class, we emphasized about Antar Darshan, which is a darshan in the heart. And in yesterday's class, we talked about Paramatma realization, which is also yogi realizing in the heart. So, it can be very easily misunderstood that it is the same. So, can you please elaborate how it is different? Yeah.
So, what is the difference between Antar Darshan that Shri Sanatan Goswami and the other Acharyas have emphasized versus Paramatma realization? So, the difference was made clear yesterday itself that Antar Darshan is Bhagavan realization actually. And who attains Bhagavan realization? A person who wants to know Tattva as the controller of which energies? Material, marginal and spiritual. Antaranga, Tatastha and Bahiranga Shaktis. That person gets darshan of Bhagavan within the heart. Shri Krishna, Nanda Nandan along with all of his associates. That is the darshan that such a person receives in the heart. Now a person who is following the difficult ladder of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pratyahar, Dharana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, basically, who is following the eightfold limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. When he reaches the stage of Samadhi, that point of time, his conception is that the Tattva or the supreme truth that he wants to perceive is controller only of which energy? Bahiranga and Tatastha Shakti. Therefore, he perceives only that much as Paramatma within the heart. He does not see Tattva or the absolute truth as the controller of Antaranga Shakti. Therefore, because of not acknowledging Antaranga Shakti, his darshan of Bhagavan remains incomplete or partial, and Bhagavan only appears to him as the controller of material energy, who is also known as what? Paramatma. So since he does not acknowledge spiritual energy, acknowledges Bhagwan only, Tattva only as the controller of the material energy. Therefore, the Tattva also appears in front of him as the controller of material energy in form as Paramatma. He sees four-armed, he sees that Murti of Bhagwan, and then he sees only that Murti. But the Antar Darshan which one sees, one does not only see Krishna, but one sees also all the associates of Krishna. One actually sees the entire abode of Krishna within the heart. That darshan is known as Antar Darshan. So that is the difference between Paramatma realization and getting Antar Darshan through Bhakti Marg. I hope that clarifies.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
So, thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, then how can we understand Gopakumar's journey further down when Pipalayana Muni is saying that you should have Antar Darshan or in the mind, but he still continues. So, what was Gopakumar's explanation or reasoning for going further above?
Gopakumar's explanation or reasoning was that as a sadhaka, he was satisfied with Antar Darshan, but he also wanted to attain his Siddhatva. Siddhatva means finally. He also wanted to see Krishna face to face. So, as a sadhaka, Gopakumar definitely wanted to have Antar Darshan. But Gopakumar knew that by the power of the mantra he is rising higher and higher. And he wanted to take it to its ultimate conclusion. Where exactly can I also have Bahir Darshan? So, although Antar Darshan is very good for all the sadhakas. See Narad Muni in his previous life. In his previous life, Narad Muni was a sadhaka or a siddha? Sadhaka. Which darshan did Narad Muni get in his previous life?
Bahir Darshan.
Are we sure?
Yes, Krishna appeared in front of him and then he just disappeared.
Should we see the verse?
I may be wrong,
Okay.
Prabhu. Yeah.
We'll see the verse, no problem.
Okay. Krishna said that he appeared in front of him like a flash and then he disappeared just to make him more curious for
Sure.
that darshan.
This is Narad Muni's own explanation. I have shared the verse on the screen. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, chapter 6, verse number 16 is there. Yes. ध्यायतश्चरणाम्भोजम्
Yatascharanambojam
भावनिर्जितचेतसा औत्कण्ठ्याश्रुकलाक्षस्य हृदि आसीन्मे शनैर्हरिः. Hari appeared. Hridi Asin. Where did Hari appear? Shanair, gradually. When I was meditating, Hari appeared gradually. Hridi Asin me Shanair Hari. Krishna appeared within my heart, which means, and see the word for word? In the translation, without delay, the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna appeared on the lotus of my heart. See here, he had attained prema. With my mind transformed in transcendental love. See, he has attained the stage number 12. Tears rolled down my eyes. And without delay, immediately he got the 13th stage. Which stage was that? Darshan. But which darshan did Narad Muni get?
Thank you. Prabhu, can I ask my previous questions? We
Sure,
are already
why not?
tight on time. So,
Sure.
so Prabhu, if we can see verse 1, 19, 21.
All right.
See, in this one, the verse and also the purport, it says that this is related to Parikshit Maharaj going to Golok Vrindavan.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, I think the verse and also
Okay. Verse,
returns
what
to the
does the verse
supreme.
say?
Okay, yeah.
सर्वे वयं तावद् इहास्महेथ कलेवरं यावद् असौ विहाय लोकं परम. It just says lokam param. Okay. Virajastam vishokam yasyate ayam bhagavata pradhana. It just says Lokam Param. Alright? How is it interpreted in the translation? Lokam Param?
Supreme planet. Yeah.
Alright?
And now, Prabhu, if we go down to the purport,
Okay.
there Prabhupada says that he will go to this planet. It is marked as this. I have it marked in my book and I don't have that.
There is one Supreme Loka.
Prabhu, in 21 verse,
21,
not
yeah.
in 22. Yeah. Yes,
There is
yes.
one Supreme Loka called Goloka Vrindavan. And Maharaj Parikshit is destined to achieve this particular Loka. This is what you are pointing out?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Prabhu, our question was that the first day we discussed that Maharaj Parikshit is not a resident of Golok Vrindavan. He is as an eternal associate and he may be in Dwarka or Hastinapur.
Right.
So, how can we understand that, Prabhu?
Okay. So it's very important to understand sometimes. There is something known as, Upalakshana. Upalakshana means a term may be spoken, but it denotes something else. For example, let me give an example. In Shastra, Jiva Goswami says, all the other Acharya says, Gangayam Ghoshaha. Okay, please repeat after me. Gangayam Ghoshaha. A village on the Ganga. What does it mean? Can a village stay on Ganga? So it indicates what? Where is the village?
On the banks of Ganga.
Right. This is called Lakshana Vritti. Lakshana Vritti means sometimes something is spoken, but it gives it the Lakshana, the indication it gives is something different because the immediate direct meaning does not make sense. If the immediate direct meaning of Gangayam Ghosha is a village on the Ganga, but does it make sense to have a village on the Ganga river? No. So the Lakshana Vritti, the indicated meaning is village on the banks of the Ganga. Similarly, the verse itself is saying Param Lokam, that is the supreme abode. The purport may say Goloka, but by Lakshana Vritti means because the immediate meaning cannot make sense. Because if Parikshit Maharaj is in Goloka Vrindavan, then what is his identity in Goloka Vrindavan? That should also be known. But since that is never known and is never spoken by any of the acharyas, therefore, the meaning that should be taken is a planet near to Goloka. That's all. That meaning should be taken here.
Okay.
And you can also take the commentary of the other acharyas on this verse. You can take the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. You can take the commentary of other acharyas. So, for example, we can have Bhagavatam, let me open the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on this particular section. 119, 21. See here, Lokam Param. See, Sridhar Swami says, Para Shreshtham Lokam. Param, which means which abode? Shreshtham. Shreshtham means which abode? It's a great abode or topmost abode, which is basically it's an indicator of Vaikuntha. Srila Jiva Goswami also in his commentary. Doesn't mention any specific loka in his Priti Sandarbha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur doesn't mention any specific loka in his commentary. So no loka is mentioned by any commentator in his commentary. Only Sridhar Swami says Param Shreshtham Lokam. Is highest abode, which is basically not Vaikuntha, but what I was specifying, Hastinapur or this Hastinapur. So that is the abode which he has attained. So when Prabhupada says something, but the immediate meaning is not making sense to us, so Lakshana Vritti should be taken shelter. Lakshana Vritti means how to interpret it in a way that it will fall in line with all the previous acharyas also. That is important. So this is what, look up the previous commentaries, and if you can find anybody saying Goloka, I doubt that previous acharya will say Goloka, because previous acharyas have not defined an identity of Sri Parikshit Maharaj in Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
मेरे को दो और questions from a previous. Huh? Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Just in this, related to this question, Maharaji, you said about Parikshit Maharaj, he's not in Goloka Vrindavan? You mean? Well, if I understand, probably you can probably correct me. Goloka Vrindavan has different compartments, isn't it?
Yes.
Dwarka, Mathura, they're all part of Goloka Vrindavan. And then Krishna is, aboard Krishna is Gokul,
Right.
Gokul Vrindavan. So Goloka, Parikshit Maharaj, the associate of Lord Krishna, they're part of Goloka. Because Mathura and Dwarka, they're part of Goloka Vrindavan. And Goloka Vrindavan is different.
Right. Goloka has sections which are Vrindavan and Mathura, basically.
And Dwarka.
Yeah. So, but the term used in the verse was Golok Vrindavan, basically. The cowherd, the place where the cowherds reside. So, therefore, I said it should not be interpreted as Golok Vrindavan, but interpret it more as a Mathura or Dwarka mode.
Correct, within Goloka.
Right, within Goloka. That is all I said, nothing else. Okay.
Just one observation on that. Even if the previous acharyas have not said, Srila Prabhupada actually said it. So why not take that as the answer?
Very good. That's a good question. Why not take that as an answer? Let's take that as an answer. Parikshit Maharaj is present in Golok Vrindavan. What is his identity? Right. Okay. The thing is, it will create another issue. The issue is, a person, in order to have an identity in Goloka Vrindavan, has to have a very specific type of desire of Radha and Krishna, from following Raganuga Bhajan, all of those things. When those topics will come up in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu lists Parikshit Maharaj in Navadha Bhakti, Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshit Abhavat, how will we resolve that contradiction? Right now it is easy to accept. I can easily say, Prabhupada says, yes, I believe it, so settles it. But I know later it is going to create a big problem for me when I read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And that problem will be irreconcilable. So it's not, our reading of Shastra has to be Simhavalokan. Simhavalokan means a lion walks, and a few steps after walking, lion looks back. So when we are reading Shastra, right now we are walking, but after some time we'll have to look back and compare what we have read with what we have previously read. So therefore, the need of interpreting certain statements in certain way. Obviously, I have no problem in taking direct interpretation. My problem is not in the direct interpretation. I can take a direct interpretation here right away. But the issue, the repercussions of taking that interpretation are lying ahead. For this reason, I am saying that the statement should be interpreted in a way that the previous acharyas will also be satisfied. That's all, nothing else. Otherwise, if somebody can tell me how Parikshit Maharaj has attained Golok Vrindavan and what is the identity, then 100% I will be satisfied. I will say yes. Sometimes also what has happened is, sometimes in the editing process, because the purports were also edited, I have seen the original manuscripts of some of the purports, and I have also seen the edited versions. So sometimes some things have gotten mixed up. So therefore, I cannot say that I want to justify everything 100%, but this certainly seems out of place. That Parikshit Maharaj, who has never been described as a person, Parikshit Maharaj, who has never been described as a resident of Vrindavan, did Parikshit Maharaj in the Bhagavatam ever go to Vrindavan? Yes. Where?
Which Purana was that? Is it Skanda Purana or somewhere where all the queens went and there is Uddhava Kund and all the queens were hearing the pastimes and Uddhava appeared when Krishna is already departed. Then Parikshit Maharaj took
I am asking a very specific question. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, is Parikshit Maharaj's journey described in towards Vrindavan? No. Is there any indication in that direction? No. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj's indication was he wanted to hear about Krishna. In the 10th canto, he only said, I want to hear directly about Krishna. That was his inclination. So if there is any indication by our previous acharyas, we can happily accept that he has an identity in Goloka Vrindavan. But without that indication, I would be little hesitant in accepting it. That's all I wish to say.
So Prabhu, this is very complex. Since Shukadev Goswami is Radharani's parrot,
Right?
so he spoke Brajalila Khani
Right.
to Parikshit Maharaj in 10th canto. It's a different, when such Bhagavat, what's it called? Bhakta Bhagavat, like him, and no other than Shrimati Radharani's parrot, he spoke about Jakani. That's the Parikshit Maharaj who's listening. Is that there's no difference being in Vrindavan while hearing those Vrajalila Kani. Because, like we said, Sruta Kita, when we hear, we see. So when he was absorbed in that Lila Vrindavan, certainly it could be said, I'm not saying I'm right, but it could be said he's experiencing mood of Vrindavan.
Yes. Shukdev Goswami is 100% experiencing. But he doesn't stop at Vrajalila.
Sorry?
He doesn't stop only at Vrajalila.
Uh-huh.
Because there are 90 chapters in the 10th canto.
Right.
And he moves ahead and he also takes Parikshit Maharaj through all the Leela.
Correct.
Which includes Dwarka Leela, Hastinapur Leela, all the Leela.
Yeah.
Where is Parikshit Maharaj going to stop? Where is Parikshit Maharaj's heart going to stop? The major indications are to be found in Parikshit Maharaj's own mood. And what is Parikshit Maharaj's own mood towards Krishna? Is his mood of a gopi or is his mood of considering Krishna as a relative? That question should be asked by everybody. What was Parikshit Maharaj's mood towards Krishna? Did he see Krishna as a Gop Sakha? Did he see Krishna as a relative, close relative of Kunti? Did he see Krishna as a gopi? Did he see Krishna as, Nanda Maharaj saw Krishna as a child? In which mood did Parikshit Maharaj see Krishna?
So basically we're trying to define which relationship Parikshit Maharaj with Krishna.
Is Krishna. Bhavo hi bhava karanam. One's bhava results in one's destination. And therefore I say, I have no issues in saying Parikshit Maharaj attained Golokam. I have nothing to lose in saying that. I personally have nothing to lose. But Siddhanta is Siddhanta. Parikshit Maharaj's personal mood towards Krishna is reflected in his own life. He considered Krishna as a relative, basically, as a relative of Maharani Kunti. Even Bhishma Dev, what is Bhishma Dev's attainment? After when Bhishma Dev passes away in front of Krishna, Bhishma Dev's attainment is mentioned by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says he attained Parthasarthi Lok. Now where is Parthasarthi Lok? A planet where Krishna is seen as the charioteer of Arjuna. Now is that Goloka Vrindavan? So am I in some way reducing the weight of Bhishma Dev? Absolutely not. It's Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur who said that. Where did he say that? He said that in first canto, 9th chapter, 45th verse. I think 45th or... Yeah, see here. In the verse, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying in the commentary to 1.944. Evam Bhishmaha, in this way Bhishma, Swa Abhilashitam Partha Sarthim Prapa Lokas. He attained which loka? Partha Sarthi Loka. So that is his commentary by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Therefore, I am saying statements should be interpreted in a way that are does it look okay that Bhishma Pitama attained Parthasarthi Lok and Parikshit Maharaj, whose immediate relative who has very similar mood, attained Golok Vrindavan? So there is obviously some inconsistency appears to us. Therefore, the interpretation should be done according to Lakshana Vritti. That Goloka there refers to that section of Goloka which has Mathura and Dwarka modes mixed in it. That is all that I am saying, nothing else. I hope that clarifies. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Prabhu, I had a small question. So in the slides that you showed, you mentioned that Mahaprabhu has mentioned that in Kali Yuga, no one can have direct darshan, Bahir darshan. But then he gives darshan to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. How do we reconcile that?
Where did Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya see Krishna?
So when he, after explaining the philosophy, Mahaprabhu showed him.
He was sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Where did the darshan occur?
Oh, Antar.
Everything will prove the point. Don't worry. I have thought about it from all points of view.
Then how do we look at Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu is also considered Krishna, right?
Yeah.
Then
but
he gave darshan to so many.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But Mahaprabhu says, Krishna kene darshan dibe. Whose darshan are we aspiring for?
Krishna.
Of course, Mahaprabhu's darshan is also very. If I get Mahaprabhu's darshan also today, if I get, I'll be very, very happy. My life will be successful. I will, it's as good, equal to seeing Krishna. More than seeing Krishna, in fact. Because Krishna gives various rasas. Mahaprabhu does not give 5 rasas. Mahaprabhu only gives how many rasas? 4 rasas. Chari bhava bhakti diya. No shantaras. Shantaras is not included in Mahaprabhu's darshan, which is very good for me because I never aspired for shantaras. Gaudiya Vaishnavism begins from dasyaras. Therefore, I am named not as Hari Parshad Shanta. My name is Hari Parshad Das. So because Gaudiya Vaishnava begins from dasyaras. Otherwise, my name should have had Shanta at the end as a suffix. But my name is Das. So Gaudiya Vaishnavism begins with dasyaras. So, getting Mahaprabhu's darshan is also it's the prime benediction that anybody can get in this age. But that also darshan was available during a specific time when his Prakat Leela was going on. Is today Mahaprabhu's Leela going on? Yes or no? Yes. Is it Prakat Leela or Aprakat Leela? Aprakat Leela. So today if I want to have a darshan of Mahaprabhu, which is the location where I should have a darshan of Mahaprabhu?
Sankirtan.
Where should I have a darshan? In heart or through the eyes? Antar darshan. That is the Siddhanta. It's a clear Siddhanta propagated by the previous acharyas, nothing else. Narad Muni as a sadhaka had which darshan? Antar darshan. Many acharyas have had which darshan? Antar darshan. We should also, if Bahir darshan is a bonus, in Kali Yuga, it's a bonus, a rare person may get Bahir darshan. Few acharyas have gotten Bahir darshan. I don't deny that. 100% I agree. But is that the rule or is that the exception? Exception. So, are we the rule or are we the exception? Rule. Rari Prabhu is exception. He can get Bahir darshan also. Yeah.
So what will that be called as?
That is what Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said. Pratima Seva, Sri Vigraha Seva. We don't deny it is direct Seva to Bhagwan. It is Krishnanushilanam. But to call that experience as directly equal to the experience of Sakshat Darshan, there is obviously some issue with that.
Right.
I had been doing that for many years in my spiritual life. And there are quotes floating around. Don't try to see Krishna, but try to act in such a way that Krishna will be eager to see you. Have you not heard this quote?
Yes.
Who spoke this quote? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When I heard this quote, I was very happy on hearing this quote, Don't try to see Krishna, but act in a way that Krishna will be eager to see you. But does it extinguish my desire to see Krishna? No, it doesn't desire. I'll be honest, it doesn't extinguish my desire to see Krishna. And then one day I said in a private prayer, I said to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you are my Paratpar Guru, the Guru of my Guru, basically. So I have complete respect for your words. But can I say one thing? That you made the statement, don't try to see Krishna, but act in a way that Krishna wants to see you. But that statement was made after you have had darshan constantly. Is it a fact or not? I will also make the statement. Same statement as you. I will fall in line with you. After I receive darshan, kitna bar?
Ek bar.
Let me also receive one. Then I will also say, don't try to see Krishna. Act in a way that Krishna wants to see you. I agree 100% with him. But I want to have the similar experience that they went through. Then I will also say the same thing. So he has had a direct darshan of Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw Krishna. Obviously, he is an eternal associate. So he is always having Antar darshan. So it's easy for eternal associates to make those statements. But for one who is Nitya Baddha, somebody like myself, to digest that statement is very difficult. Because I can also make those statements after I have one darshan of Krishna. Yes. But it is very difficult for a Nitya Baddha who has not even seen Krishna once, who has never been with Krishna in the spiritual world. For that person, it is very difficult to digest that statement. So therefore, I agree with all the statements of the Acharyas, but please let me have that experience once, at least Antar Darshan, at least once in my life. Therefore, all the Acharyas praying, Mama Mana Mandire Raho Nishidine, all they are praying for Antar Darshan only. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may say, Ashlishyama, Adarshanan Marma Hatam, you may not give your darshan to me and you may break my heart. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has seen Krishna many times previously, and after which he is saying, you may not give me darshan. I can also try to emulate that mood. I cannot be exactly like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I can try to emulate that mood. But first and foremost, let me have the darshan at least once that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had. Terms and conditions applied. Fair enough? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Janama safalata. Tar Krishna darshan jar. Bhagya hoche ek bar. So I also want that ek bar. I want ek bar. Then after ek bar, I will also loudly say, don't try to see Krishna. Act in a way that Krishna, will come to see you.
But then those personalities saying that, they've seen Krishna already.
Yes.
It's not everybody else is saying that.
Yes. So, obviously, he was chanting millions of names and you rolling in the dust when previously Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was living the life of Babaji. In Jagannath Puri, he was doing his Nam Vrat and he was chanting millions of names, and when people found him there, he was rolling in the dust and Ha Gaur, Ha Nitai, this was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That is how they found him, in a maddened state. Then they called him and said, something to do with Prachar. Yes, we will start Gaudiya Math. Okay. Then when he came to Calcutta, he started Gaudiya Math. But before he started Gaudiya Math, there is an entire life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that very few people have heard about. His life as a Bhajananandi. It was such severe bhajan he was performing that the roof was broken and there rain used to fall in. Instead of fixing the roof, he used to take an umbrella, and under the umbrella he was studying Brihad Bhagavata Amritam, other literature. That is bhajan paddhati. That was his determination. So who can compare with such a personality? He definitely had darshan so many times of Bhagavan.
And Aslisha, that verse spoken by Radharani, that is Radharani, that's a mode of
Madanakhya, Modanakhya Mahabhava. Right.
Radharani spoke that verse. Mahaprabhu is just repeating the words of Radharani.
Right.
And
Right. Right. Yeah.
So Prabhu, in this connection, how will you think about somebody speaking about Darshan Krishna?
How do we explain darshan of the deity?
Yes.
Yeah. So we explain in a very good way.
Because it's to me Sakya Brajendra Nandan.
Yes.
So this is not different deity. So
Sure.
how will you explain that?
So to me Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. You are directly the son of Nanda Maharaj. But I am not the seer. Darshan means who is the seer?
Drusti and Drusta.
Drashta, Drashta,
Drashta.
Darshan Nyay. Who is the seer and who is the seen? When it opens tomorrow morning, who will be the seer and who will be the seen?
We are the seen, Krishna the seer.
But if I want to be the seer, then there is only one place where I will see. That is the heart. That is what I am speaking about. We don't actually see Krishna. Even when the curtain opens, we are not the ones seeing Krishna. Actually, Krishna is seeing us.
Krishna sees us.
Yes. Can we see Krishna through a material eye? Absolute no. So, it is impossible to get darshan of Krishna through the material eye. Whatever darshan we have, even when the curtains open, is only through the eye of the heart. Only because we are a devotee, we have a favorable mood towards Krishna. That is our darshan when the curtains open. That is our actually darshan. Not the eye exercise that we have. That is not called as true darshan. Because that darshan Shakuni also had. That darshan Duryodhan also had. That darshan Jarasandha also had. Do we want that darshan or do we want Antar darshan with a heart full of love? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santaha sadaiva hridayashu vilokayanti. That's the darshan which we are aspiring for.
And sorry Prabhu, just last note in the connection. Like we say usually, what to speak about Krishna, it is said even a sadhu in front there. You cannot say sadhu, but he's there.
Right.
Then he said, don't try to say sadhu with the material eyes.
Right.
But basically we're thinking we're the seer, but we're not the seer of sadhu. If a sadhu sees you, then you can say sadhu.
Acharya mam vijaniyan navamanyeta karhichit na martya buddhyasu. Don't try to consider him as an ordinary mortal who is within the purview of the material energy. Sarva Deva Mayo Guru. All the gods are present in the body of the Acharya. So that is basically Sri Krishna's statement to Uddhav in the 11th canto. So the Acharya is the one who will judge us, who will measure our progress, instead of we trying to see from our point of view and consideration.
But many people, they see sadhu, but they don't recognize him.
Yeah. That's because unfortunate, that they are not fortunate enough to recognize. Okay? Thank you very much. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki.